Sit back underneath this wonderful show of Divine Oracle podcast that can be found right here underneath Podbean with your hosts, Psychic Me, Chris and Jillian. At times, so that they will be having special guests coming to you, talking about their own spiritual journeys and where you can find them.
And good day, everybody. It is yours truly, Psychic Me, Chris, well known actually as Brother Chris. Jillian's actually in the studio. Hey, Jill, how's it going?
Hey, everybody. I am doing well. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. And also our special guest, though, for this episode of Season 2, Episode 3, Psychic Medium, Vanessa is actually in the house. How are you doing today, Vanessa?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for the invite today.
No problem. And thank you very much for the response. I know that you've been kind of following us like off and on, which is so wonderful.
Yes, yes, I have. Yeah.
It's like so. Can you sort of let our viewers know a little bit about yourself?
I'm a 6th generation clairvoyant medium in my family. I have been doing readings for 38 years now. I also am an instructor of metaphysics and mediumship and a whole bunch of other things. I am a published artist. I'm a Jane of all trades is what I am. But the first and foremost, I am a psychic medium.
Okay. All right. Now, right when you're doing your work, though, what do you find yourself more or less leaning to by any chance? Is it more mediumship, or is it more into...
At this point, it's a combination. So, like when I do a reading, I can do tarot as well, but I don't prefer that because, as my uncle taught me, so he's like, Vanessa, you need the meat and potatoes. Tarot's great, but you need the evidential mediumship and stuff. So when they mentored me, they started me out on the tarot, and then they moved me to the mediumship and more of the psychic stuff. And I really do prefer the psychic mediumship. And to me, that's all part and parcel together.
Yeah. Because
9 times out of 10, it's a spirit, of course, telling me, oh, this is what's going to happen with so-and-so. So there's the future stuff from spirit, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And yes, I do have the clairvoyancy where, whether it be the snapshots in, the photos in the head or the run-on movies that I sit there and watch before I tell them. So it's literally, at this point, it's so intertwined, it would be really hard to take them apart.
Okay, yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because it is the clairs and it is the psychicness that helps bring in the mediumship.
Yeah.
All that energy, right? So...
yeah.
It's a combo.
So we're just going through your website right now, and I actually have the page up to do with all your services. And again, we do say thank you much for following us here actually at Divine for a while. Now I'm just noticing some of your investigations though.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Now, for your investigations, you probably go in blindsided. Am I correct?
Pardon me? Oh, yeah. I personally, I don't want to know the history. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, gosh. Now, how many...
I do find out the history afterwards, of course, but I try to go in cold.
Yeah. Now, how many investigations have you done by chance?
I have no idea.
Quite too many for the fingers, too many for the toes.
Too many. Yeah. And there's a lot too that I go to and I just don't document. Like it's just for, part of my language, but shits and gigs, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you don't end up, if you don't get any evidence, you don't document. It's a fun thing for me. I do go out and help other people, but to me, it's all fun.
Yes. No, I totally hear you. Yeah. Now, for your actually reading parties, though. For your reading parties directly, do you do like in a separate room, or do you do it with a large group?
I can do both, but I prefer 1-to-1.
Okay.
Yeah, like I do for most of the parties, I will say, like some families like to sit together because they all have certain spirits that they all want to hear from, right?
Yeah.
Like one single spirit, like dad or mom. So yeah, I will do those sessions, but I do prefer one-to-one when there is more psychic in it, because as I say to my clients, no one wants to hear your seated affairs.
That's the best way how to put it. That's the best way how to put it. I like that. It's like
Exactly. And because as a medium, spirit can rat you out hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. And put some people, like, take them back. Like, oh my gosh, how did you know that? So, yeah, you just don't want to embarrass anybody or,
Yeah.
Like, again, in a group setting, somebody sitting beside you may not want the other person to know, like couples readings, right?
Yeah.
So those aren't particularly my favorite.
No, I totally hear you, because I know with my life partner, there's certain things that I'm like, okay, don't mention spirits. Like to him, I'm like, okay, yeah. Thank you very much.
No, I'm listening to you guys do your talking and, reading the website, just kind of getting some ideas going on. Well, you guys are doing your thing.
Now, am I correct that you have done television shows?
I have, yes. Yeah. I have done the earliest one, oh my goodness, that was way back in early 2000s with Haunted Hamilton. And that one was called Shadow Hunters, but that wasn't the same as the one nowadays.
Yeah.
And I cannot, for the life of me, find the footage to that one. I really do. I had it somewhere on a VHS.
Yeah.
But I can't find that one. But then I went on to do Paranormal Survivor, and that was season 5, episode 1, and I'm the third story in.
Okay.
And then I did a little bit on Six Nations Paranormal, APTN, for the Niagara-on-the-Lake courthouse. And, of course, I've done, some Kojiko bits and those kinds of things.
Yeah. Now, for our listeners listening in the States, though, Kojiko, though, is a provider for television. And, so I guess we got you beat for Paranormal Survivor. We were season 1, episode 6 is what we were.
Oh,
yeah.
Season what? Sorry?
Season 1, episode 6, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, you were right. A newbie in there. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I had the story that I had for Paranormal Survivor, like, when it started.
Yeah.
But I just never put my name in, and I don't know why. I think I probably didn't have the self-confidence that they would take my story or whatever. But finally, after 5 seasons, I'm like, hell, why not? Let's see where it goes. And I was very shocked. They got a hold of me very quickly. So
yeah, it's like, because for us, when we first of all started, though, they reached out to us directly.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
It's basically because we were working with Lamport Shepherd Entertainment.
Michael.
Yeah. So we were working.
And Genevieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were working with them directly. So I'm just going through some of your more website though altogether.
With those two, I help them with rescue mediums.
Okay. Yeah.
And some of the initial locations, and I was supposed to go to their launch party, but something happened, so I didn't. They had to cancel it or reschedule it, and then I kind of just got lost in the mix of things. But yeah, it was good to work with them.
That's okay. Yeah, because I know Jackie and Allison, and then Jackie's sister-in-law, which was the original person, which was really, really nice. They did a lot of locations, especially in Hamilton, which you sort of know, which you know a little bit more information of, which is to do with the old location. It's across from the train station, and it was about the workers.
The what? Sorry.
It was to do with workers. Like
the customs house.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and they asked me to go around the building, and that was the what I was saying, the first Shadow Hunters show. And from what I understand, or what I can remember from that, and I've asked, do you have a copy of it? And nobody ever answers me on that. So they brought me in cold, and they were quite impressed with everything, which was nice. I got the photos. Actually, I think the photos are on my Facebook.
Okay.
Of that initial investigation.
Okay. So and if our listeners are listening, you want to mention what your Facebook name is by any chance?
Oh, Vanessa Hurst, psychic medium.
Yeah.
And that's just me. Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like, I am also considered under Seven Crows, which is another name that when I had my center, that's the name of the center. I've had that name since about I think 2004, something like that. But I don't generally use it.
So being your 6th generation psychic medium clairvoyance in your family, is this kind of the career aspect that you wanted to go to, or did you have something different in mind when you were younger growing up?
Funny enough, when I was young, I was given to a family, and they became my legal guardians at 13 months old. And I was always the kid growing up, making the fake seances, scaring the crap out of my friends, rigging up the pictures on the walls and making them rock. And so I was always very much a lucid dreamer, out-of-body dreamer. I had an uncanny knack to find things for my parents. I would complain about the people, at the end of my bed or whatever. But my legal guardians, the Anderson family, they were Christian. They grew up very much like Pennsylvania Dutch, almost like Mennonite in that sense. So I wasn't the devil's work, but I was kind of the devil's work.
You were kind of that borderline of...
I was.
Yeah.
They loved me, so they didn't want to call me that. And but my mom, my foster mom, she was very, very psychic. And like in the medium sense, she could see spirits. So this is where, she just kind of would... I think protect me in that way, like, I don't know how to describe it, but she was just she knew, but she wasn't going to admit it. Let's put it that way. And by the way, I like that spirit trumpet sitting beside you.
Thank you.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And so when I became 16, so the Anderson family changed my name. And so I went to school my whole life until I was 16 as Cheryl Anderson. And they never legally changed it. So when I got all of my ID, my real name is Vanessa Hurst. And so from there on in, I kind of started doing my own search for my family. And when I finally found who I found first was my uncle, my mentor, one of my biggest mentors. And I called him and I said, do you know, like, my real dad's name was Jeff Hurst. I'm like, do you know Jeff Hurst? I got his answering machine. And then all of a sudden I get this, he picks up the phone and here's this big English, deep English voice. And so I said to him, I said, do you have these issues? Like, what they call out of body, or, these lucid dreams and seeing ghosts, and the laughter that came right up from that man's toes. And he's like, ha, 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 you're one of us. And then I found out that he was one of the 3rd best psychics in North America at the time, living in British Columbia. He was trained over in England with his mom, which is Dorothy Broughton. So moving ahead, once they realized Like that next birthday, my grandmother was sending my first tarot pack out, and so they would mentor me over the phone from BC until I was able to actually get out there. And then once I got out there, my uncle would be taking me to the Aquarius Society in Vancouver and sitting me down at the tables, and his words were, "I'm throwing you to the wolves." And then and then he would go and sit at his table, and we would like read 15-minute readings all day long. So that's kind of how I ended up getting into it.
Yeah.
So very much it's a family thing then.
100%. Yeah. And like we go back again in the family, and it's on both sides. It's not just on the Hurst side. It's also on my mother's, the Fairbairn side. But like, you know, David Price, they call him the first white man of Welland. He was considered actually a Seneca seer. He wasn't Seneca, but he was kidnapped by the Seneca, and the chief made him the Seneca seer, or labeled him that, I guess, because he would go out in the woods and find lost people, and, you know, other than tracking, he would also dream where these children were, or whomever.
Yeah.
And that was 1812.
Yeah, so I'm looking actually also at your website, though. You do teachings. What type of teachings do you do?
I do a mediumship class, which is live mediumship and evidential mediumship. And then I do the second part of that class. If they like the first part, they get to move to the second part, and that would be the physical mediumship, which would be, you know, the Ouija boards, the pendulums, all that kind of fun stuff, seances. Got to have those in there.
Yeah.
And then I teach the 6 clairs, which is all your clairs. And then I teach spirit guide drawings. And how to meet your spirit guide. I do past life regressions, which is group sessions, which is absolutely, I love it. Love that. Oh my goodness, I teach so much. I can't remember it all. Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I enjoy teaching. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, there's one year, though, that for us here at Divine, we were in Milton, Ontario. And we had the table actually at a 45-degree angle.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So
yes, that's a skull experiment table. If that sounds like it to me.
That's like awesome. Yeah, Jillian was there, and we had one person step away, and because she thought that it was all rigged, but it wasn't.
No, it's not.
I raised my hands off, and it was still at 45. So
yeah, that's like pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's like but yeah. Now for yourself though, how can people reach out to you by any chance?
Well, I'm lots of places. www.psychicmediumvanessahurst.com, and then we have TikTok, Vanessa. Usually, if you look up my name and know me by what I look like, you'll find me everywhere. You could just Google me, and I am definitely on Google.
That's like us. Now, is there any little stories that you want to sort of share with us by any chance?
Well, I guess one of the first times I recall seeing spirit, I guess that would be a thing. The youngest I can recall any kind of paranormal or spiritual kind of stuff would be when I was about 2 years old. And I was put down for a nap that day. It was a nice summer day, I remember, because I was only in diapers. And a big orb started to float over my bed, and then there was a man's face in it, and said, was talking to me and said, I would like to play with you, and this, that, and the other. And at that time, I was having nothing of that.
Yeah.
It totally terrified me, and I didn't have my speech underway totally, and I'm crying and crying and trying to point to this orb, and my sisters are standing there going, what's wrong? They obviously didn't see any of that, but that would be like probably the first time I can remember spirit. And then throughout the years after that, like I would move to about 3 or 4 where I would go to a cousin's house because she'd love to have me for the weekend. And she would always put me on the couch to go to sleep. And every time there was a man standing by the front door. And I know we hear a lot of, the hat man nowadays and stuff. Well, back in the day, a lot of people wore hats, didn't they?
Yeah.
They
so
did.
To me, a hat man isn't scary. It's logical. But it was a man in a hat and a 3/4 coat just standing there watching me. Later on in the years, I realized that who this was. But the crazy thing is I had no recollection of the house that I went to. And it was kind of just like, whatever. It was my cousin's, Years later, didn't I rent that house? Yeah.
Full circle.
I couldn't believe it. But the fun part was the paranormal stuff was still happening. But the second time, I didn't realize it until I started talking to people, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, that's where you used to go for a weekend." Well, one time, when I was there the second time as an adult, I was just sitting there at the kitchen table, and I had a big, one of the big square floor fans going beside me. And then all of a sudden, I seen an arm come out of the ether, and an old gentleman arm with a plaid shirt on, and he turned off the fan. And I thought, what the heck? Why? Who are you? Why did you turn my fan off? But then I started to smell something, and I went and I looked at the plug, and it was melted in the wall. So he was protecting me the whole way. I found out that was actually my great-grandfather years later. So he had passed before I was born. So, one of my longtime guides, my birth guides kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, right up until then, he was protecting me and showing his arm or showing himself. So that was very cool. So many stories. I really do like just the crazy, like even the paranormal survivor story.
Yeah.
It was just nutty. And I don't, like, that you were on Paranormal Survivor and how they record these things. They choose what details they want.
Yeah.
But some of the details were just so eerie. It's like, why didn't you put those in? Like, and the way they, God bless them, but the way they interpret it in their minds and they show it was like nothing compared to what I lived through.
Yeah.
So it's just very Hollywood kind of deal.
Yeah. That's why I found, though, because right when I was the first one in the hot seat. We were supposed to be season 1, episode 1.
Oh gosh.
But the other group couldn't make it, so we were episode 6. But I was actually in the hot seat for 4 hours.
Wow.
Right? And I was like, gosh. And then with my life partner, he was only in there for like 2 hours, if that. I'm like, why are you picking on me? Like, hello, 4 hours in front of the camera.
You know what? I said to them, because they had the room all dark and dreary, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please, make me look like I'm in a good light. I was getting very ill at that point, and I'm like, just get through this interview. And it was horrible.
Yeah.
They made me look horrible. And then my ex-boyfriend that was in it, he looked lovely. He looked like he hadn't aged a bit. God. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you people doing?
That's like awesome. Yeah, so do you also deal with dreams by any chance?
I do. I love dreams.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. I do love dreaming. The whole symbolism and putting the puzzle together for people, to me, is like awesome. And when their eyes light up and go, oh my God.
Yeah.
I never even seen it in that light. I really like tearing that apart. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because usually whenever I have a dream, if I don't tell anybody about it, it comes true. And if I do tell people about it, it doesn't come true.
Oh.
Right? And it's so weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that is an odd thing. I will say that. Yeah, those dreams for me, like the ones that come true for me, are like 30-second dreams.
yeah.
That's it. And some will be very, very lucid, but usually it's, like looking through the third eye kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that hazy kind of pink, and it zones in, and you're only looking through a small hole. You see whatever scene it is, and then they suck you right back out. And it's like, I wake up from those and go, oh crap, that was a 30-second dream. That's going down soon. So it's really interesting, isn't it? I love premonition dreaming. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like for me though, it won't happen the exact same way, but it's the scenario that
The dynamics are there.
Yeah. Because I know Jill has actually had encounters also herself. One thing though that we've actually done with Jill was at a case with us. We were filming it, and this was actually off of one of the Great Lakes here in Canada. Okay. We were downstairs to the basement. We were upstairs, and Jill was actually sitting down on the couch. She went into a trance.
I'm not what you call a scriber, but I started in the trance, and then at some point, I don't know who, somebody handed me a book and a pencil. And I just started writing random words. I was mumbling things, and it was constantly repeating. And it was kind of very surreal, because that's not what I do. I don't do scribing, but somehow the words on the paper, when they were given to the homeowner, they were like, we didn't tell you any of this. And I'm like, whatever they were telling me, it was coming out on paper, and do with what you will with what's on there. And it was 2 pages full, and I don't draw. And there was like some swirls and some circles. It looked like...
So you're a channeler then?
It's kind of something I picked up on, but it's not what I call my life work. When we do the investigations, when I was with Brother Chris and Trevor, his life partner, we would go out and do them, and I was the debunker. I'm the oddity of the group. I'm the one that's the skeptic, but also the paranormal investigator.
I'm with you. I'm so with you on that.
I did the debunking behind the scenes so that people would go, okay, so that really happened.
Yeah.
In one.
So when you tell people, sorry to cut you off, but when you tell people that this isn't right and this isn't right, do you got a lot of haters?
Occasionally it's, you're lying. I'm like, well, no, it's, I don't know how to explain. It's paranormal. It happens, right? But when you can say, oh, the window was open, the curtain was fluttering. Okay, then let's go close the curtain and try this again. And when the curtain still flutters, but the window's now closed, it's, well, what was that?
Yeah, like, do we have to tape off a breeze? What's going on? Well, I do get, like, a lot of people ask me to come out and check their houses, and they really, I know, like, this, how do I say this? People find it entitling to have a ghost in their house. And so they really despise when I walk in and say, nope, this, and this. This is what's doing that, or this is what's doing this. And so that's what I mean with you. I'm sure people don't find you impressive when you go and debunk everything. And you gotta, with me, I gotta be honest. Like, I can't, like, unless I'm gonna see that picture fly off the wall and that nail is perfectly strong in there, no, don't tell me different, kind of thing. But you get a lot of haters for that. They want you to say, oh yes, there's demons in this house. Like, Amy Allen? Is that the psychic that in her show, every show there's demonic presence. Yeah. And it's like, show me those places, please.
Yes, exactly. Like, you want to go and experience what she's experiencing.
But what I think is horrific in those shows is she convinces people to leave. In a lot of places, you don't have to leave. You just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't have money to just get up and sell their house. You know what I mean? So I always thought that those kinds of things were really, really, like, not cool, we'll call it. Just not cool to do to people.
It's over the top, is what it is.
It is. And yes, it's Hollywood. I get it. It's Hollywood. But, you know, that's not for me. I'm going to tell you the truth. If I'm going to come in your house, if I'm going to make my way all the way to your house, wherever that is, I'm going to be honest and give you honest answers and give you, you know, honest options on how to fix what's going on.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm also looking at your site, though, and it says so that you do it in person, of course, but you also do it over phone.
I love doing phone sessions.
Okay. All right.
They're my favorite.
So with the phone session, though, is it more or less like hello, like an actual telephone, or is it over top of Zoom?
I don't prefer Zoom. I don't prefer video. I'd rather just have phone and just good old regular phone. And I say, okay, say your name. They say their name, and then we go. And it starts out, of course, on vibration. But as soon as I can connect with their vibe, the whole reading gets done.
Okay. All right.
It just flows from there.
Yeah, it just flows from there, and it's better because I don't see anybody's facial expressions. I don't see them moving around in their chair, and I know that, you know, whatever I've just said has upset them or whatnot, or I don't see pictures in their house, or it's all very cold.
Yeah.
But to me, it's so much more genuine.
Okay. So you kind of astral project then.
You could call it that.
Okay.
That or remote viewing or whatnot. Yes, I do have a little bit of that ability as well. Yes.
Yeah. Before we end, though, what would you suggest actually for our listeners, more or less, to do if they do come across something, and also, again, how can they reach out to you? Okay.
Well, again, to reach out to me, you can literally just Google Vanessa Hurst Psychic, and all wacky pictures and videos and all sorts of stuff will pop up, so that they can email me, they can PM me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, just everywhere. My www.psychicmedium, VanessaHurst.com. Let me see. I also, like I said, work out in the community. I work at the Well and Salt Caves. I do some, gallery shows there. I do festivals. I was just doing some for Collectively Unique Boutique. They do a lot of shows. So I really am out there. So I'm easy to get a hold of. Now, advice for our friends out there. Now, do you want advice for where to start on your psychic medium abilities?
It's all what you feel. Okay. What you feel the spirit is trying to let you know.
I would say will come to the teaching of the psychic abilities. A lot of people out there say, well, I think I have this ability and I have this ability. We all have the abilities, which is awesome. It's just everybody's born at different levels and different frequencies, so that's okay. But the first step, the biggest step that so many neglect to do till way after, is learning their energy, their own energy. That is the 100% biggest step. Learning your chakra system inside out, learning your magnetic aura, learning about things like environmental, like ley lines, thunderstorms, ions, physically between two people, those energies. If you learn those energies, you're going to pick them up everywhere. You're going to tune into them everywhere. So that, to me, is the biggest lesson in all of this, because if you learn how to tune your frequencies, you also learn how to read those frequencies and understand those frequencies.
Well spoken, well spoken. All right.
Thank you.
No problem. And we do say thank you very much, actually, to Vanessa, actually, for coming on to today's show. Look for more great, actually, people that work in the spiritual community coming actually underneath our show here at Divine Oracle Podcast. Now, from Jillian and myself, we do say thank you very much actually for coming here today underneath Podbeam, and we hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Just have a good day.